What's up, weirdos? We are back for another garden tour. Today is June 29th. No, it's June 30th. June 30th, 2020. Wow, we're almost into July. Anyway, the garden is looking great. Pretty much overgrown at this point. You're gonna see it whenever we go in here, but yeah, potatoes are doing well. Again, lots of potatoes this year. I'm going to try to pick them here pretty soon. I think probably another month or so we'll be able to start picking them. But yeah, over here the peas, they are just gigantor. They're all like at least 7 feet tall now. Some of them are close to 8 feet. But you can see there's just a ton of peas on here, and we've been picking every day like crazy. And it's been hard to keep up with it. I've been eating a lot of them. My mom's been picking them and freezing some. My dad's come down to pick a bunch. So yeah, we've been picking a lot pretty much every day, and I have missed a few here and there. There's a few that get pretty big, but I make sure I pick them before they get too big. So yeah, lots of peas. This is definitely working. As you can see, they're still putting out flowers, so that's a good sign. So you know, we'll see what happens here in the next week or two, because we're supposed to get some really hot weather. They're saying 90 degrees every day for like 10 days straight. And that's a rarity around here. It's usually if we do get in the 90s, it's maybe a week straight at the most. So it's gonna be hot for a while. And then you can see the tomatoes here. They're just taking over. I need to do something about this because they're gonna take away this whole path. As you can see, and again, there's only 12 tomato plants in here. There's only 12 cherry tomatoes here. You can see they're just taking over completely. So I think I might try to string them up a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But it's definitely making it a little bit harder to get through here. So they're doing extremely well. And I was a little worried at first because they weren't putting out flowers. But now I do see some flowers on here. A bunch of clusters and stuff. So I think we'll get probably way more tomatoes than we actually need. Way more. The raspberries are starting to put out some ripe berries, and they're very good, but the birds are getting a lot of them, so I need to do something about that. Maybe put up some bird net. I don't know. I think next year I'm gonna grow more raspberries, but I'm gonna grow them down there whenever I make all those raised beds, and I'm gonna put like a bunch of net on them, kind of like these raised beds here. I'm just going to put a bunch of net over it so that the birds can't get into it. And then the Zeppelin squash, it's doing really well, as you can see. Peppers are doing extremely well. There's our bee balm right there. But these are all bell peppers. Something's been chewing on them a little bit. So I've been spraying them with a little bit of cayenne pepper and some soap and some water. And it seems to be helping a little bit. But I haven't been too active with that. I need to do that a little bit more in this garden. This is a Kellogg's breakfast tomato, and it's doing well in the pot. I think it may need a bigger pot, to be honest, because it's a little bit behind the other ones. And then lemon balm right here. More potatoes that are pretty much ready to harvest here in another week or two. And then these are the Cherokee purple tomatoes, and you can see there are some tomatoes on them. Yeah, they're looking pretty good now. Beans are starting to take off, as you can see, and they're getting too big for the trellis. Yeah. This trellis is a little too small. I need to make bigger trellises. And we do have some boards that's starting to flower, as you can see. And they're looking really nice. I love that color, kind of a blue-purple color. Very nice. And kohlrabi in here, I don't know whenever it's ready to harvest. It looks like it's almost ready to harvest. I don't know how big it's supposed to be when you pick it. And then the spaghetti squash is just vining like crazy. I have, I think, 2 plants in here, and they've just taken over completely. You can see it's starting to grow up the trellis. It's starting to grow along the path. It's going to take over this whole area too. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, it's kind of like a cucumber the way it vines. And yeah, these tomatoes are doing good. Brandywines and persimmons, they're massive. And lots of tomatoes on them too, as you can see. Lots of tomatoes. and lots of flowers too. So really excited about that. We're actually going to have a good tomato harvest this year. The last 5-6 years since I started gardening, we never had a good harvest for tomatoes because they just, I don't know, it's just been really wet the last few years. But this year it's been pretty dry, and they're doing really well. And again, more potatoes in here that came up, volunteer potatoes. And I'm probably going to pick these here pretty soon. I don't care if they're kind of small, because I do need to fill these beds with some broccoli. I want to get a fall harvest for that, and I got to plant that at some point in July. And then the carrots and the beets, they are looking great, as you can see. Beets are getting big. I don't know, they're more than a golf ball size. They're not quite fist size, but they're going to be ready to pick here, I think, in another month. And then the carrots, they're going to take a little bit longer, but you can see they're getting a little bigger there. That one's kind of big. We might be able to start picking these here pretty soon. And then zucchinis, oh my gosh, they're starting to really produce now. These are just 5 plants in here. This is the plant that I started, the Costata Romanesco, and then the rest of these are gold zucchinis that we got at the greenhouse, and that is ready to pick right now. There's a bunch of these in here that are ready to pick. Yeah, we gotta start picking those. And more beans right here, and yeah, some more peppers. These are all banana peppers. They're doing really well. They're doing a lot better than the bells. Nothing's really bothering them. They get a little more sun too, I think. Goji berry, this is doing a lot better now. It was really yellow, and the same thing over there. That one's still kind of yellow, but I think what it was too acidic in here, or not acidic enough. Not exactly. I think it wasn't acidic enough, so I added some lime. And then thyme is starting to flower. It looks really nice. Blueberries in here. I got to cut this back. Can't really see them that well. And then more lemon balm there, and cucumbers up the yin yang. Yeah, you can see there's going to be a bunch of them. All these flowers on here. You can see there's actually a few cucumbers here that are starting to form. There you go. So we're going to have cucumbers here in another couple weeks or so. And then more peas. These are kind of just overflow peas, I guess. And then some beans there. And yeah, more chamomile here. I got to do another chamomile harvest. It won't be as big as the first one, but yeah, I had some chamomile tea last night from our chamomile, and it was very potent, very strong, and it put me to sleep pretty quick. So I'm happy about that. And then more mint in here. And yeah, lettuce is doing well. It is starting to bolt. Some of it's bolting, and I tasted some the other night, and it tasted maybe a little bit bitter. So I'm gonna have to really keep watering this, because we're gonna get some hot weather here. I think this bed is probably going to bolt, more than likely. But, you know, that's okay. I've been picking stuff from this since Memorial Day, so, you know, not a big deal. And then kale right here. Got to pick some of that as well. Again, this lettuce looks like it's going to bolt here pretty quick. And then all this, I need to start picking this. This is going to be kind of the main crop of peas. Or not peas, but lettuce. And again, spinach in here, it's bolting already, and you know, we hardly got any spinach from this row. So I'm gonna hold off on spinach until probably the end of August, and I'll plant a little bit more. And then over here, more lettuce, and I gotta weed this bed, but yeah, it's starting to come up. And then I gotta start some more lettuce in this bed. I've been putting that off a little bit too long. And then over to the overflow garden, which is yeah, it's getting pretty big now. And all these tomatoes here. I got a whole row of tomatoes right here. Most of these are cherries. There are some paste tomatoes up here. But yeah, they're doing well. This one's vining out like crazy. This is one of those Matt's Wild cherries, I think. Yeah, it likes to vine on the ground, and it just gets massive. And then, yeah, more tomatoes there. There's a whole row of peppers right here. Most of these are bells. And they're doing well, as you can see. They look healthy. I haven't had any issues with them. Nothing's eaten them, so that's been good. These beans, something mowed down some of the beans, but they're coming back. They are coming back. They're taking their time though. These are all bush beans. And then sunflowers, as you can see, they are following the sun. And yeah, it's early in the morning. It's like 7 a.m. here, and they like the sun. Yes, they like the sun. And then More squash here. I think this is the Zeppelin squash, and that's butternut, or not butternut, but spaghetti squash right there. More peppers right there, and then the watermelons. And ever since I started spraying them with that cayenne pepper, the animals are leaving them alone. Like this one's looking really good. This one here, it's starting to come back a little bit, and then all these ones here, they got the worst of it. I think this one up here at the top got the absolute worst of it, but it will start coming back. It's going to start growing its leaves again, as you can see. And I gotta keep on this. I gotta keep spraying this every day or so to make sure that the groundhog doesn't eat it. I'm pretty sure it's a groundhog that's eating these, but they've left it alone since I started spraying, so that's a good sign. They don't like the spicy stuff. Okay, and more beans here, as you can see, starting to come up. And again, this was my watermelon, and yeah, it's looking okay. These were all from my friend. As you can see, he knows how to grow watermelons. He put them all in mounds, and I didn't do that, so we'll see what happens. And again, more tomatoes down here, more of the Kellogg's breakfast, and zucchinis. Yeah, these are almost ready to pick. Well, actually no, another week or so for these, but they're looking good. And then all the gold zucchinis here that need picked. Yeah, there's a bunch in here that need picked as well. So we're gonna have a bunch of zucchinis for dinner probably. You can see one that kind of rotted. I think that means it didn't get pollinated. And then yeah, another row of tomatoes here. As you can see, I am watering right now. Gonna be doing this for most of the morning. And all these tomatoes are looking good. These ones along here look the best of all the tomatoes here in the overflow garden. And then this is my marshmallow plant. It comes back every year since I first planted it, probably about 5 years ago. And these leaves are so soft. You could use them as toilet paper if you wanted to. And then the food forest is looking good, no issues there. Currants in the foreground, and then apple trees right there, and there's an autumn olive in the background, and then the elderberries, and there's some gooseberries back there as well. So things are looking pretty good in there. I do need to get in there, kind of mow it. And then what I really need to do at some point, I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I got to start putting wood chips down in this whole area. As you can see, I do have a little pile there. I did get another delivery, but I'm definitely going to need a lot more. So that's definitely one of the projects this fall. But before I do that, I got to pull all this stuff out of here and then kind of do that little thing that I was talking about, leveling this all out, putting in some raised beds, building a little rock wall. So that's going to be kind of the project here in the next couple of weeks now that it looks like we're going to have some dry weather. I'm going to do that, and yeah, I think that's a good place to leave off. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe to get more gardening videos and gaming videos and whatever else I decide to make. Alright, goodbye.